Hi everyone, my name is Rose, also known as TA Summers. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a book tag video that I have not done quite yet. It is called the Soundtrack to My Life book tag, and it was created by Jenny King. So I'm gonna do this book tag pretty rapid fire. I don't know if it's going to take me a long time to edit, but I'm gonna try to see if I can go through this as quickly as possible, like not dwell too long on the questions in terms of things. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. So the first question on this Soundtrack to My Life book tag is considering the opening credits. What is your favorite childhood book? I have a number, but I think the one that I will go with off the top of my head is Time Windows by Catherine Rice. And it, as I've mentioned on the channel before, I have an affinity towards ghost stories, and this was a very, very interesting travel type book in terms of the structure of the story and things like that. So that is definitely one of my favorites, and I feel pretty good about choosing that as one of my favorite childhood books. Second is Waking Up, a book that got you out of ridiculous reading slump. I was in a reading slump for a little bit, and you could argue in 2023 that I haven't been reading as fast. It's not so much that I can't find books to read, it's that I'm reading between so many books at one time that I'm not finishing them at a pace that is considered productive. So I'm reading between multiple books. I do a lot of book hopping. That is one of my bookish vices that I'm desperately trying to curb. But in terms of one of the books that recently got me out of kind of a reading slump, I would say The Sunbearer Trials by Aiden Thomas was one that I really enjoyed listening from start to finish. I love the world building, I love the writing, I love the characters, all of it, and I can't wait to be able to read a follow-up to that respective series when it comes out. Third question is considered to be school, a book you read in school that you actually ended up loving. I actually talked about this in my favorites video on YouTube, so you can check that out when you have a chance. But I would say Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier really got me into Gothic fiction, and I have not looked back since. I really enjoyed Rebecca, and I often reread it from time to time because it's one of my absolute favorite books. So I'll leave it there. Fourth prompt, Falling in Love. An author you love so much that you want to read everything they've written. Okay, I have quite a few to list here. I would say more recently, Christina C. Jones definitely is an author that I want to read everything that she has written. I've loved everything that I've picked up from her so far, and I definitely have a lot of books that I own by her, but I haven't gotten to, so I want to remedy that as soon as possible. Another author whose work that I really enjoy, who writes urban fantasy, is Devin Monk. I have talked about Devin Monk basically, I think, on my blog and also on my Goodreads, in terms of how many books of hers that I've really enjoyed, including the Broken Magic duology, which I still do need to write a review on for both books. So hopefully that will be coming down the pipeline pretty soon. Another one, I would say, give me all of Martha Wells's writing. I love Murderbot. I love several of her series that I have not actually reviewed on the channel quite yet, but you'll definitely be hearing more about me reviewing Martha Wells's work coming up in the future. And I've just loved everything that she has written, and I want to read more. Okay, so the next fifth question is Fight Scene, a book with the best action sequences. Recently, I would say The Kinsman Universe by Alona Andrews had a lot of great fight scenes between the characters. I would say that's probably the more recent one. Yeah, as of the filming of this video, I would say The Kinsman Universe is one that I really enjoyed the fight scenes for. So I will leave it at that. Keep it simple. Sixth question, breakdown, a book that seriously affected you, having you cry your eyes out. So this one's hard because I could name a lot of those. I would say the most recent one that really, or one of the ones that I can think of off the top of my head that actually did make me cry, was the Erased manga by Kei Sanbei. And Erased is an emotionally invested series. It is not a series for the light of heart. It's basically about a boy who gets pulled back in time in the flux of a murder that happened when he was younger, and he's trying to put the pieces together in terms of finding out what happened to the girl that was murdered around the time that he was younger, and basically going through and fitting pieces together in order to see if there's any way that he can change events. I really enjoyed Erase. I enjoyed the anime. I enjoyed the manga, and I definitely feel like that's one of the most emotionally charged series that I have read, probably like within the last several years, or and also watched within the last several years. So I would say that's probably my answer for that. See, seventh question, road trip. Favorite book series has to be more than a trilogy. I was going to say His Dark Materials, but that's a trilogy. Okay, so I would say for right now, I would go with Murderbot by Martha Wells, the Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. I am undertaking a project where I'm reading up to the latest entry in that particular series, and you'll be seeing reviews of that coming on the channel pretty soon. I'm refilming this from where I had filmed this particular book tag before because of my corrupted SD card. But I would say that by the time that this video goes up, in terms of the shooting of this video, you'll see more of my reviews on Murderbot. So just letting y'all know. And I also consider the Murderbot Diaries one of my comfort reads. I really enjoy that series very, very much. And it is just so well done with the world building, with the action sequence. I could have also used the Murderbot Diaries as a good action sequence series as well. So you can say that's kind of the my dual answer for those questions. So just FYI. So the eighth question, Flashback. Favorite book from 5 years ago. So 5 years ago would have been 2018. And one of my highest rated books back in 2018, I would say it was The Tea-Girl of Hummingbird Lane by Lisa C. So I will go with that. I really enjoyed that from start to finish in terms of how the narrative compelled me to come through it. I've written a review of that on my book blog, but I have not actually talked about that particular book on the channel. So if I do a retrospective, then I will probably definitely talk more about how much I like that book. It was actually recommended to me by a work colleague, and I ended up really enjoying it, and for what it was worth. And I definitely want to read more of Lisa C's work in the future. Number 9, Getting Back Together, a book that you cannot stop rereading. I'll go with Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury, because I've talked about it on the channel as well as in my favorites video in terms of how I read that many years ago and how the narrative pulled me in, and I still come back to it from time to time in terms of the way that it chooses to tell that particular story. And I do enjoy Ray Bradbury's writing, so I'll leave that answer for what it is. So question number 10, Wedding, a book that's really special to you. I have a copy of Black Sun by Rebecca Rowanhorse that is personalized to me, that I just can't get enough of. I do plan on reading Black Sun, as well as the follow-up Favorite Star for a feature on the channel. So that will be coming by the time that this video goes up. It'll be something that, like I do, I may include it in kind of a dual reading, like whether I read duologies or like different pairs of books. Like I may include that, I may not. Depends on how my time parses out for the month, but you'll see definitely me reflect on Black Sun as well as Favorite Star by Rebecca Rowanhorse. So the next one is question 11, Moment of Triumph. Longest book that you have ever read. Longest book that I have ever read. Don Quixote by Cervantes? Probably that. Yeah, I think that's the longest book that I have ever read. It's either, now that I think about it, either it would be Don Quixote that would be the longest, or Count of Monte Cristo, which is one of my favorite reads as well. So either one of those two, I would say, are my longest reads. Question number 12, Death Scene, a book that you wish that had ended differently. I talked about this on the channel before, as well as this is a book that had a very controversial ending, which I applaud it, but I do kind of wish that it had been better about getting to the progression of getting there, and maybe tying up a few things. But I would say for this particular question, I would say All Those Bodies by Kendare Blake, but I still really enjoyed that novel for what it was worth, and also for the journey it took me on. So I would say question number 13, Funeral, book with the best or worst epilogue. Let's go with one of the more worst. I wouldn't say this is the absolute worst, but definitely one that I feel like could have been a little bit better in terms of everything that was within the novel. Out of Darkness by Ashley Hope Perez. I feel like on top of everything that happened in that particular book, I felt that the epilogue was just kind of like, kind of basically telling the reader in terms of more like information that we already knew. The novel, I thought it was okay, but it didn't sit well with me in the aftermath of thinking about it. And the last question, number 14, end credits tag people. Consider yourself tagged if you're watching this, and if you haven't already done it. I don't know of any people that haven't already done this tag, since it's been around the community for a while, but I've never done it and I have not been tagged for it. So I figured I would do this video and then consider it done. So that is it. Very quick video. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be updated of when I post new videos to the channel. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next video.